Hey guys, just real quickly because I want to make it to the concession stand real quick, but I'm watching two movies tonight. Tonight is going to be Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. That's right, you did not hear me wrong. It's actually, let me say that one more time. It is Star Wars. So, and then, hey, the next movie is going to be Palm Springs, which is a Hulu original movie that was put onto the screen. They're really desperate to find us movies to watch. But other than that, hey guys, can I say just one thing before we go ahead and get into the review? HBO, get off your butts and make a deal with Roku and Fire Stick. I'm getting sick and tired of waiting. If you guys don't know, HBO Max has launched like last month, the beginning of last month. So it's been like a month and a half since they launched, and they launched without the coverage, the support of Roku and Amazon Fire, the Fire Stick. And the reason why is because they ran out of time and they didn't reach that one, they didn't make a deal to be able to put your app on their devices. But I went ahead and I looked at HBO. Before I even knew this, I went and looked at the Max lineup, their content they have on there. And I was really impressed with it. They have a little bit of Crunchyroll, a little bit of Cartoon Network. It's got some really good stuff on it, some really good movies on it. So I went ahead and I'm paying my hard-earned, and let me say that, let me reiterate that. I work really hard for my money, and I don't get that much money. So when I say I spend $15 a month on that takes a chunk out of what my exposable income. It takes a chunk of that out. So I'm spending a lot of money on this, and I can't even watch it on my preferred device. The only way I can watch it is on my browser, on my computer. I don't want that. I want it on my TV. So HBO, look, this is my ultimatum. If you don't iron this out by the end of this month, I'm canceling my subscription. I need it on Roku. I just need it. And you guys are a big corporation and you're big boys and you need to iron this out. If it's a lesser deal that you have to go ahead and just take, then take it. Because it's us fans, it's us users, it's us customers that are suffering because of your stubbornness. So, all right, so that is just my soapbox right there. Hey guys, in just a few seconds, I'm going to be right back to say some very kind words about Star Wars Empire Strikes Back. All right, see you in just a few seconds. Bye. Hey guys, I just got done watching a film, when George Lucas originally conceived of the idea of Star Wars, he wanted something to bring in the younger fans, something that he grew up in the 50s, like the Flash Gordon, or even like John Carter and his adventures in Mars. A New Hope really did give that to us. It was kind of a neat, isolated story. It was basically, it gave us these characters, the rebels, against the big conglomerate empire. And at the end of New Hope, they had a major victory. They had destroyed the Death Star, and they celebrated that at the end. And they gave us like a ceremony, and it was kind of a wrap-up of that movie. And they did that because they didn't really know whether this movie franchise is going to go further. They had no idea the mega colossal hit that they had until it was released, and they were proven that. So they had a huge success, and obviously what the studios wanted to go forward and do what was a trilogy of these movies. So the second movie that came out was this movie right here, Empire Strikes Back. And this movie, it picks up with the iconic scroll at the first in the beginning scene where it reads that the rebels have been beaten back by the Empire, and that they've had to hide again, this time on a frozen planet called Hoth. And that's where our movie picks up. And some of the opening scenes were so great. I know most of these action films, especially in sequels, they like to go ahead and give us an action sequence. They grab our attention first, and then they'll go on with the boring exposition. But this action sequence, at the beginning action sequences, lasted about a quarter of the movie, and it was really fun and really cool to get behind. The whole Hoth scene, where we got to see the walkers attack the rebel base, was really fun. And not only that, but I know we've gotten really CGI centric in all of our movies, and it's not a bad thing. If done right, it can look really good. But the stop motion animation in this movie, and even Return of the Jedi, was really top notch. Ray Harryhausen would have been very proud of this. And not only was it well done, but it matched the story, and it gave us, it built on that story, and made the action sequences believable, and I really enjoyed that. Yes, after our action has calmed down, we then split our attention between Luke going off in the Dagobah system, where he tries to find, and eventually does find, his teacher, or soon-to-be teacher, Yoda. And that's the first time we get to see Yoda, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not all that behind the puppet Yoda. It doesn't emote well. I have a hard time getting into that character. Not until we get to CGI Yoda do I actually like that character. And I thought it was fun, and I liked how they gave us that character. So obviously it's 100%. It tested in time. This movie is great. So that's it, guys. Star Wars is definitely a hit. If you haven't seen the original 3, please do yourself a favor and watch these. Don't watch the prequels, and watch Rogue One. That's about the only good thing the movies that came after the original 3. So that's it. That's my review of Star Wars. I'm gonna go ahead and move on to Palm Springs, which is like I said, the Hulu original. And I'll be right back in just a few seconds to let you know what I think about that movie. All right, see you in just a few. Bye. Hey guys, I just got done watching Palm Springs, and it was starring Andy Samberg, and right over here, and then some girl. So she was a very attractive young lady, and she played that character pretty deadpan, but I still liked her. I thought she had some really good charisma with Andy, Mr. Samberg, and she had some good comedic timing. I really enjoyed her, and her name is Kristen something right over here. All right, so the movie, you know what, here, before I tell you what this movie's about, let's go ahead and tell you what another movie that I saw was about. That's a great way to tackle this review. Hey, do you guys remember a movie, forgive me, I'm going to screw up the title of it. It was something like Finding a Friend at the End of the World, something like that. It starred Steve Carell, and it had Keira Knightley in it. It was basically a movie about, the common end of the world scenario where an asteroid collides with Earth, and it creates an atmosphere on the Earth where nothing living can survive. It was the weeks and days leading up to that event, and we have Steve Carell, who was the main character, who his wife upon hearing this fact that they only had maybe a month to live, she immediately takes up and runs out on him and falls into the arms of the guy that she had been cheating on Steve Carell's character with. And so it leaves him essentially alone to look at this void that of the future that he's looking at. And then he meets Keira Knightley, who circumstances are different, but the end is still the same. She is alone, and they find themselves alone together. And throughout the coming week until that asteroid hits, they fall in love. And it's a really beautiful story framed around a very unusual situation. So this movie is framed with another kind of a trope, science fiction trope. We have what is essentially Groundhog's Day. We meet Andy Samberg's character, and he seems to be kind of like quirky and kind of off-center, doing the right things at the right time, but doing them in a kind of a casual, blasé kind of way. And then we learn that this is not fresh to him. This is not the first time for him. That this wedding that he's attended 100 times before that, because he's caught in a time loop. He hooks up with the girl that he meets at the wedding and inadvertently has her go through this portal with him. And so she gets stuck in the time loop as well. Again, this is a trope that's been done over and over again, done really well by Harold Ramis writing Bill Murray's character in Groundhog's Day, but it's done lesser well in other movies. I entered this movie finally figuring out what was going on, and I kind of rolled my eyes at it. But then I found out that, like meeting a friend at the end of the world, it's basically a romance movie. Because they're stuck in this situation together, they become fast friends. And because they become fast friends, they start learning about each other. And a romance blooms because of this. And it's kind of beautiful. I really, really dug this. I thought it was really well orchestrated. Now, I could tell you the rest of the plot, but I don't want to. I really encourage you guys to go see this. And if you're not going to see it at the drive-in, many people won't, but, turn on that monitor and go ahead and hit your Hulu there so that you can watch this, because it's a great film. It was definitely a concept that was used because it was cheap to do. They could produce this movie on the cheap, but at the same time, it's kind of like those found footage movies. Those are made purposely so that they can give a really strong story on a cheap budget. This was another movie that gave us a really good premise and very smart writing on a cheap budget. And I really dug that about this movie, and I dug everything about this movie. I'm not a big Andy Samberg fan, but I really liked him in this role. I thought this movie was outstanding. And really, honestly, except for it not being like the big production value that I really love in a film, and that nothing really happens in the film, I was still engaged throughout it. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a big 90%. I really enjoyed this movie. I really did. I was not expecting it at all, but it was a great time. I encourage you guys to see this on Hulu, and that's it. That's my review. All right, so guys, believe it or not, I am going to go see the double feature of Goonies and Gremlins. And I'm doing this for the simple fact that everybody tells me that I'm too critical of my movies, and that I should at least experience Goonies to be able to criticize it as heavily as I do. So that is it, guys. I'm going to go see Goonies tomorrow, and, well, that's the final word on that. So I'm just going to get going, guys. I do wish everybody peace. I hope that everybody's safe and well. Montane, I'll see you guys later, and goodbye.